Hey, I'm Suzanna Lanier, actor and acting coach for over 25 years.
I'm Jess Greenberg, casting director for over 10 years.
We're here to help you navigate this crazy, creative, and sometimes chaotic journey into the film and television world.
We share our insights as to what works.
And invite some pretty spectacular guests to share more ideas to move you on your journey.
So without further ado, let's get into the show. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to this week's Minisode. This week, we are speaking with Amber Goldfarb, who is an actress from Montreal. And me and Suzanna were talking about it after. And one thing that stuck out for us both was how simply she put it was, it doesn't matter if you make mistakes, it's how you plan your recovery. And I found that, like, I guess I've never put it into words, but it's true. It's exactly how I feel. For me, I don't mind when people make mistakes in auditions. I think it's normal. I think it happens from nerves or whatever reason. I hope that you're prepared, so it's not because of that, but really planning how you will recover says so much about you as a performer and an actor, and that is really the important part.
That's good to hear, Jess. I'm happy you said that. We talked about this yesterday in class. After Amber said it, I've been repeating, like, we're in class. This is the place to make mistakes. Please. Yeah. This is where you discover, you learn so much about yourself through making mistakes. And I had one actress who came, she learns her lines really, really well, word perfect. But she said to the point where if she changes a word, then it throws her and she's in her head for the rest of the scene type thing. So she made a point to not really learn her lines, to think about her character, but not learn her lines. And she did her scene yesterday and it did go well, but she did admit that at the end there was this speech that she was supposed to give that was really well written and she couldn't get it right. So it was frustrating to her not to be able to do it. But I said, but she was still great. And I said, but that's perfect. So now you know you need to find a combination. So I really think that making mistakes is so important. I know one student, we both read the book Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, and he shares the story of same thing. He said, if you know you're a man, then like the lines will come. And he shared a story of when he was on set and he decided he was not going to look at his sides at all. And he said, because I know my man. And then they were about to shoot and he looked at his sides and it was a 3-page monologue and some of it was in Spanish. Oh my God. He was like, give me a few minutes. And so then he went back and did it and he was like, oh boy. So anyways, he got through it. He said he never watched that movie because he was worried about his performance in it. So I personally don't think maybe making big choices, like not looking at your script before you shoot, might not be the best choice, but you have to know thyself. I do like, and we're working it through with the students a lot, really trying to get into your character before you start memorizing the text to really understand how your character thinks and breathes and stuff like that, and not being so text heavy. I think that was great advice and we're exploring that. But some people, like for me personally, I like to know my lines well. It makes me more comfortable, but I don't care if I mix up a word. That doesn't usually throw me. There's a whole lot of other things throw. And so I also want to ask Jess, so if an actor comes to you and they decide they start and they're off and they said, can I start again? Would that bother you?
No, I think it's totally fine. I really just empathize with everyone's nerves because I think I've shared stories like this before, but like I've done theater in high school and I was a nervous wreck where like I would just blank. And so I think I carry that experience with me and I am ultra sensitive to an actor's nerves and I think it's fine. And like Amber said, it's really about the recovery and that is what's so true. It's like, don't take up too much space with it. Like you fumble, you say, either ask for line if you're ready to do it, or if you want to restart it, just be like, hey, I need a second. Can we retake that from the top? Sure. let's move on. And that you're not wasting anyone's time or making it a big scene of like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I got the scenes last night and I'm just didn't like got stuck in traffic, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't need to hear a whole story, song and dance, this, that. Recover quickly and just move on with it. And that's cool. That is totally fine.
Yeah, I think it makes it more fun too, the whole experience. So I think that's a good thing to take away today. Like, practice your recovery, be okay with making mistakes,
Yeah.
and keep it fun and keep it light. I think we're so heavy. You know,
Yeah,
actors,
and
we're a
and
lot of us, I am too heavy and wanting to be good, wanting so badly to be good. And I think that's kind of the kiss of death. I think you have to just try to get into your character, drop into your character, explore your character's headspace, and stay there, stay in that headspace when you're working through it.
yeah.
Not quite so much stuck on making sure everything is exactly as planned, because that's, you know, that's the death of creativity when you're
Yeah,
so controlled.
exactly. But and I think that's why it is so important to do classes, is to keep you working and on your toes and looking at different scripts, learning different characters. All those things will just help you stay active and be able to grab those like sets of tools faster if you're constantly exercising those muscles.
And
Yeah.
trying different things to know thyself, because
Yeah.
every actor is different. Like, how do you feel about people adding lib in auditions?
It's fine. Like, especially if you know the beats, you don't want to mess up your reader, you know?
Right.
So if you're like ad-libbing, but it makes sense in the scene and your reader can give you the next line seamlessly and it still flows, who cares? You know, personally, yes, there's some writers who are very particular about their dialogue and it's all very intentional and they don't want to hear ad libs. But personally, for me, like in an audition, it's fine. But
That's good to know.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like you also should be able to like get where you need to go without the ad libs.
Right, right. But
You
sometimes
know?
they ask me, students have asked me, do I have to be word perfect? I said, not at all. I said,
Yeah.
but yes, be, you know, aware of your reader, because
Yeah.
they might not be actors and they might not know where the scene's going. So it's perfectly said. You know your beats, you know where you're going, you know your character, or as Matthew McConaughey said, you know the man or the
All
woman.
right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right. Then you can go ahead and it's okay.
Yeah. And
It's okay.
the key, and I'm working with a director now, and you know, one thing he said, and he warned the actors, was for him, he doesn't like to do a lot of takes.
Okay.
And he really appreciates, as every director should, is the preparation ahead of time.
Right.
They have the script, know your lines, know your character, and come prepared. And
Yeah.
that also allows you to play and not be in your head and not, he's like, I don't want to see you thinking about your lines in your eyes. I don't want to see that from you.
Right.
Be prepared, know it, have it be in you. And that is key, is the preparation. That's what gives you the confidence, that's what gives you the ability to play. And that is
Yeah.
key in amazing natural performances.
Yeah. Listen, we had this long conversation yesterday about that. And I said, you also have to know yourself, as you just really like what the director's saying. He wants you to have the lines in you. That's fine. And I think that's great advice. And I think for
For
most
set.
of us, if we're set, but for most of us, that's it. Some people won't. Like I said, if you see Vince Vaughn,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't, like, if you get the script of Wedding Crashers and then you see that it's a completely different, this guy goes on a riff, but this guy can do a 3-page monologue that's witty, that's fast paced, that's got transitions, that's straight off the top of his head. So, and he's also a star, but you know what I mean? But even beyond that, like, he can do it. I can't. I don't know one of my students who can pull a Vince Vaughn in class. None of them. So know thyself, right? It has to be you. I have another friend. She's a very, very good actress. She reads her sides 3 times, then she puts them down, because she finds if she knows them too well,
Mm-hmm.
she's not listening and she loses her spontaneity. But she does that and she works and she's great at it. I
Yeah.
read it 3 times. I know nothing. My head is a blank. I'm a wreck. So yeah, come to class, practice all this stuff out, and then see how you are and what works for you and what makes you the most confident, strongest delivery or performance you can do, and allow yourself to fall flat on your face in class and maybe in the audition too, because the audition isn't the end result. That's what I thought.
And but it's also important to note, like, we will know the difference if you mess up because you're ill prepared, or if you mess up because you were having fun and tried something that didn't land so well.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we appreciate you like pushing it and figuring stuff out. Like, that's cool. It's more of like messing up because you're not prepared, which is a doozy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, anyways, I think that's great advice. So everybody, have fun and plan for your recovery, and mistakes are fine. Jess just said it. If you have to call line, if you have to start over, you don't need to give 100 excuses of how, whatever, just do it and do it again and do it the best you can, and try to have fun with it. And that is the book, The Room.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun with it, and then other people will feel that energy.
Totally.
Excellent. Well, thanks everybody. Have a great week. And you will listen on Thursday to Amber, who talks about recovery, but she also talks about all her stories and her journey, and she's doing great. And she gives so many good tools and tips. So I hope you all listen in.
Great episode. And have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.